Hello and welcome to my channel, and today I am going to be doing one of 3 videos that I plan on doing in the next few weeks on my pregnancy, my labour and becoming a new mum. We'll start in order and we'll start with the pregnancy one today. So I was going to just talk about like it from day 1 all the way up until when she was born. However, I can't really remember much, so I thought I've come up with a few questions that I will answer, which will give you a bit more of an insight into my pregnancy. I wanted to do this while I was pregnant, but I didn't feel very well, so I didn't, which is why I'm doing it now. My first ever sit down video. So yes, let's get right into it with the first question. I have the questions here and also little things so I don't forget anything. How and when did you find out you were pregnant? So I found out on Saturday the 7th of April last year, and it was the day after Richard's 30th birthday. Basically, the week before, I started to feel a little bit unwell, and so the Wednesday, I ordered a pregnancy test, come on the Saturday, and I took the test. And it's actually quite funny, because what happened is, I'm not one for instructions, and I basically took the test, and put it on the side of the bath, and the first thing, it just comes up with the little blue line. And I was just like, oh, well, I'm not pregnant. Went and told Richard, not pregnant, put it in the bin. Then probably a few minutes later, I just had this urge to go check. So I went to the bin, picked it up, and there was 2 lines. So it turned out it was a positive. So I went through to Richard and I told him, I said, oh, it's positive. And he was like, what? Because I just told him, obviously, it was a negative test. And yeah, that was all good, and we were really happy, obviously, but it was so surreal because I think a part of me didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Talking about having a baby and actually having a baby are completely different, so it was a lovely surprise. Yeah, did you find out the gender? Was it what you wanted? So me and Richard all along decided that we wanted to find out what we were having, only because I'm kind of like, I want to be organised, so I wanted to know for that reason. I really wanted a girl, and I think Richard really wanted a boy, but I think neither of us was bothered. But you know, everyone I think has a little bit of a preference, but at the end of the day, you're not bothered as long as it's happy and healthy. That's all that matters. But I wanted a girl, and I was really happy when I found out it was a girl. But yeah, we wanted to find out. I mean, I think before the scan, we did kind of like toy with, do we want to find out? But the thing was, I was so convinced I was having a girl that the week before the scan, I was like, what if it's a boy? So I started looking at boys' clothes and trying to get myself excited about having a boy. And then by the time the Friday the scan actually did come, I wasn't bothered either way. But then when I found out it was a girl, I was absolutely ecstatic. Next question, what was your biggest craving? So I had, which you'll find out, which I'll talk about later on in this video, I was diagnosed with hyperemesis. So that is basically extreme sickness. So I had a lot of cravings, but my cravings were very short-lived because I'd eat that stuff that I was craving, and then I'd start to be sick with it, and then it kind of put me off it. But I had chocolate chip muffins was one of my cravings, and pizza. Did you exercise and eat well? When I found out I was pregnant, I was like, I'm gonna eat healthy. I'm gonna continue to go to the gym. I'm gonna eat healthy. I'm gonna eat fruit and veg and just be really, really healthy. And it didn't happen at all. One, I was really ill, so going to the gym was just not on the card. But in regards to eating well, I just ate what I fancied because it was gonna come back up again. So there was no point worrying too much about what I was eating. Oh, did you have a name picked out, and what is the story? So her name is Lily Vivian Cornwall, and Cornwall is Richard's surname. The middle name Vivian, that is named after my nan, and even before I found out I was pregnant, even before I even thought about having children, I knew that if I had a little girl, her middle name was always going to be Vivian. In regards to Lily, me and Richard had, I mean, as soon as we found, I think even when we were just trying for a baby, we had the discussion. Oh, someone's really happy. Here she is. This is Lily. Because that was something that I really wanted. Oh, sorry, I just got you. That was something that I really wanted to have sorted. The name I thought was, it's a big decision, and I wanted to have the names really sorted quite early on, because then there's kind of no going back. Because once you start calling her by the name while she's in your belly, you kind of like have to stick with it. Richard didn't really have any preference with girls' names. I had loads, but mine were all quite modern names. But in the end, we decided to go with something traditional, and then we decided on Lily. And then it was just deciding how to spell it, and we went with Lilly. Next question. What are your pregnancy must-haves? So, to be honest with you, whatever you think, I would say my 2 must-haves would be bio oil, which in all honesty I wish I used more. I've probably used it once every other day, when really I probably should have used it twice every day, which is probably why I ended up with stretch marks. And leggings. Was there any complications or problems? So I didn't really have any complications. There was one midwife appointment that I had where my bump was measuring small, so I had to have an emergency scan. But it just turned out that I was small, not the baby, because obviously of my hyperemesis I was being quite sick, so I wasn't keeping much food down. In regards to problems, I'd just say it was the hyperemesis. Like I said, I was being severely sick. I actually was admitted to hospital for dehydration. I couldn't keep anything. I'd like nothing kept down. Like I'd have one little sip of water and I'd bring it back up. It was awful, really awful. A best and worst part about being pregnant. So obviously the worst part would be my illness. That totally took the shine off being pregnant. I didn't really enjoy much of my pregnancy because of it. And towards the end it got bad again. So I would say through the whole 9 months, I only had 2 months where I actually felt okay, and the rest, it was just awful. The best part would obviously, I think one of the best moments for me was when I first felt her kick. That was just amazing. I remember that so well, and it was just such a lovely feeling. And then the scans, getting to see her was lovely. We had the 2 regular scans, then we had the scan because she was measuring small, and then I did have a sneak peek scan, another appointment, and then I also went to window to the womb, where we obviously just wanted to double check the gender, and so we had another scan, and then we actually got a little 3D sneak peek on that one, and that was really good. Next question, how did you feel about your changing body? So in all honesty, I was quite happy. I didn't get that. I never ever said, oh, I feel fat. I never said anything like that. I was actually quite happy with the way my body was changing, and I really did love having a bump. I used to wear bodycon dresses to show my bump off, and I really did embrace the bump. Stretch marks though, I didn't actually have any stretch marks until about 2 to 3 weeks before actually having Lily, and then they just got worse once I had her, but we'll sort them out one day. We're not in any rush, are we? No. Cheeky, you don't need your dummy, do you? You only have your dummy when you're going to sleep. And you're not going to sleep by the looks of your face. You're cheeky. You're cheeky, 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 cheeky. Apple. Oh! Oh! Who's that there? Who's that? Is that Lily? Did you love your baby before having it? Obviously I loved her because she was my baby, she was in my tummy and I was growing her and I felt her kick and I spoke to her every day. So, am I talking about you? Yes, can I have a kiss? And I think everyone loves their baby before having it, but basically I never knew I would love her this much. I think when people say, oh, you'll never know who I love like it, you never will. Like, I can't actually begin to explain how much I love her. Like, I just can look at her and just cry with love. What? You're a little monkey. But I love you. Can I have a kiss? Yeah? Ah. I mean, I knew I loved her before I met her, but I never knew I would love her as much as I do. She's literally when people say having children is the best thing that will ever happen to you, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it really is. They're so... You're so cute. Especially when you're as cute as this little one. Oh, look at you. Once you have your baby, it's just, the love is unimaginable. It's just so hard to describe how much you love them. With all my heart, all my body, everything. I'd do anything for her. Did you have a birth plan? I did have a birth plan. I'm not going to talk too much about it because obviously my next video is going to be about my labour, so I'll explain more in that. But I had a birth plan of basically a water birth is what I opted for. I really was quite keen on having a water birth, and I just said water birth, gas and air, however, go with it. Anything that needs to be done to help, like a C-section, I'm more than happy to do it. But the plan was natural birth, water birth, and just gas and air. Scared of labour. In all honesty, no, I wasn't scared at all. I'm kind of like quite to the point when it comes to stuff like this. One, I wanted her in there, so she's got to come out. And it has to happen. Do you know what I mean? There's no point getting all worked up and worried about it, because you have to go through it. And for me, I mean, because you're a little monkey, because my pregnancy was so bad, I was actually looking forward to the labour because it was an end point for me. But I think the best thing to do is just to prepare for the worst, and then, you know, you're not going to have any shocking surprises, even though you probably will. Not being funny. It's just, whoa! So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and it helped. It may not have helped. It was just my way of telling you a little bit about my pregnancy. The next video, I'm going to warn you, is about the labour, and I am not holding back. So just, I will put a warning on that one. You know, TMI, might have a little bit of that in there. But I hope you enjoyed, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss out on the labour and the new mum video, subscribe, and I'll be on your newsfeed when that next comes up. Or just subscribe if you like me. If you don't, don't. Good girl, aren't you? You are so beautiful to me, can't you see? You like my singing. That is all though. Twinkle, twinkle,